TMT predictions. Technology, media, telecommunications. Deloitte has been doing this for 13 years. 5 years I've been coming to Sweden. It is the most accurate, forward-looking predictions report in the world. And today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about some of our predictions from a year ago, some from this year, and even a sneak preview of what we will be discussing in 2015. 85% accurate. Let's start off by talking about some of the big themes that you've probably heard in the world of technology, media, and telecommunications. Cloud, mobile, social. I don't know, I'm a tech guy. It takes too long to say that. You know what they call that? Clomoso. No, you can work that into your conversations every day from now on. What's going on with cloud, with mobile, and with social? Let's start off with something you've probably heard about, not just cloud computing, the idea that you keep your pictures up in the cloud. Not the idea that when you do a search, it's not searching on your computer, it's searching out there in the cloud. One of the biggest trends today is what's called big data. And companies around the world, companies with millions, billions of dollars, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, are spending enormous fortunes on accessing the power of big data. But here are you, sitting in Stockholm. You can't use those tools. Show of hands, who here knows how to program in Hadoop? Who here's heard of Hadoop? 2 guys, good, we're on a roll. It costs so much money to get into this game. You need so much knowledge. You need data scientists. You need data appliances, not in 2014. All of a sudden, the tools, the analysis that is behind big data is now being available through the cloud. So whether you are an individual, whether you are a small or medium business person, the breakthrough is the barrier to entry to accessing data analytics is falling as cloud computing opens up the power of big data to individuals. And I think that's a tremendously wonderful trend, especially for investors. The PC is dead. You've heard it. PC sales were down this year, down 9%. In units, down 13% in dollars. It was, in fact, the worst year in the history of the personal computer industry. Throw out your PC. Nobody uses them anymore. Except data taken January 2014 for Europe. Yes, the number of page views accessing your Nordnet portfolio, looking at your bills. Yes, it's down. Yes, mobile is growing. Yes, smartphones are growing. Yes, tablets are growing. Even game consoles are growing. Yes, PC is falling, but it is falling, as you can see, to around 80%. 4/5 of all the pages viewed in Europe last month were still viewed on the traditional personal computer. Smartphones and tablets are wonderful devices, but they are additional devices, not replacements. But maybe those are old people. Young people don't use PCs anymore. If you have a 6-year-old, they love tablets. And that's true. But when we asked 5,000 people 1 year ago, which device is more important to you, your tablet or your personal computer? Matures, those over 65, 60% still prefer the personal computer, 40% the tablet. But trailing millennials, those 18 to 23 years old, actually prefer, 92% prefer using their personal computer to their tablet. Everything you have ever read about how young people don't like PCs anymore is not merely wrong, it is backwards. What happens is that at age 6, you start with the tablet. At age 16, you switch to a personal computer. And at age 60, you switch back, perhaps, to a tablet. It depends whether you want to consume data or create data. So once again, personal computer, very important device. Now that's a picture. Anybody remember that one? Yeah. That's a Dell computer from 1993. And I got a story to tell you about social. but I need to start in 1993. I worked for a Canadian fund management company, pension fund. The guy who ran it was spectacularly smart. He was 61 years old, and he was a genius. The portfolio numbers were off the charts, many percent ahead of his Canadian competitors. He was a great guy, but he didn't know how to use a PC. Not only did he not know how to use it, when the machine in his office shut off from a power failure, he couldn't turn it back on. He had to call his secretary to come in and turn it on. When he went on vacation, he printed out all the portfolios and took them down to the swimming pool and worked with a calculator what the changes. He managed a $21 billion fund, and he didn't know how to use a PC. Because in 1993, you didn't have to. You could be a successful money manager and not know how to use a computer. In 2014, everybody who manages money knows how to use a computer. And the reason I'm telling you this is that Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, these services and others, social media is exactly where the personal computer was in 1993. It's optional. If you're not on Facebook, don't worry. It's not a problem. If you're not on Twitter, no problem. It's fine. LinkedIn, That's today. 5 years from now, that will not be true. So you can make the decision. Do you want to be on social media? Do you want to learn about it today? Because you don't need it today, but you will 5 years from now. And if you aren't learning about it today, you will be at a disadvantage 5 and 10 years from now. I want to talk about this one idea that I have. This is 2014. You've all heard of the mass market. You've all heard of the niche market. And I want to talk about the mass niche. In a planet of 7.4 billion people by 2017, with 5.4 billion adults, 4.5 billion literate adults, 4 billion mobile phones, 3 billion smartphones, billions of devices. Quick math question. What's infinity divided by 10? It's still infinity. In a world where we measure markets and audiences in the billions, even very small parts of very large markets are still very large markets. And I'm going to do a kind of fun example of this. Let's take a look at smart glasses, wearable computers. Oh yeah, you've heard about Google Glass, but this is any smart glass. This is what it looks like if you look at somebody wearing them. Doesn't she look happy? Isn't this the replacement for the personal computer, the television set, the gaming console, the tablet, the smartphone? This is what it looks like to wear one of these devices. As you can see looking through it, it's transparent. You wouldn't want to watch a movie. Low resolution. This doesn't work as well when I'm in Turkey, but who here watches hockey? Come on, I'm Canadian. I don't get to do this often. Yay! I love watching hockey. On a pair of wearable computing, you can see the players, you can see the net, but the puck is smaller than 1 pixel. Now, I'm a pretty big hockey fan, and I'll tell you, the game's not as good when you can't see the puck. They don't get rid of the smartphone. They only work with the smartphone. They cost $500. It's illegal to wear them in all kinds of places. It's illegal to drive with them. And according to a recent report, they cause blinding headaches after 1 hour of use. Our prediction is in 2014 that despite all the media stories you have read about smart glasses, it will only sell 4 million units this year for a $2 billion market. Next, smartwatches. We're all going to get smartwatches. See my watch? The face of it's about 2.5 centimeters across. I can tell the time. I can't read an email. I can't watch a movie, and I can't type a message. But if you create a smartwatch that's big enough to read an email, watch a movie, or type on, it kind of looks as though you've tied a smartphone to your wrist. Our prediction is this market will be even smaller. Despite all that you've read about smartwatches in 2014, it's an absolutely tiny market. I want to kind of just touch on Quick one here. We have had an amazing decade. In the last 10 years, sales of computers, smartphones, TV sets, tablets, and game consoles have gone from $250 billion to $768 billion this year. What remarkable growth. 12% per year growth, but it's coming to an end. We, instead of buying more and more money on hardware and devices, are freeing up money. Because less money for hardware means more money for software, for services like internet connectivity and higher speeds, and more money for content like movies, like music, like television shows. I want to talk, as my final one, about something called the phablet. P-H-A-B-L-E-T-S. Anybody know what it is? It's a phone tablet bigger than... Who here in the room owns a phone with a screen bigger than 5 inches? Hands? Few people, not a lot. Who here wants to go buy a really big, ugly phone so all your friends make fun of you? You don't want to. You look like an idiot talking into the thing. It doesn't fit in your pants. You can't type on it one-handed. People don't want phablets. This is what happens when you ask a survey of everybody in the room. Do you want something a lot, a little, not at all, in the middle, a little negative, really negative? It's called the normal distribution. We asked Canadians if they want to buy phablets. Okay, we didn't actually ask about the weasels. Not only do they not want them, not only are they indifferent, they hate the idea. Okay? Well, but those are older Canadians. What about younger Canadians? Nope. What about middle-aged Canadians? Nope. Men? No. Women? No. Rich? Poor? No. Education? No. I just did a little game with you. You are all now predictions experts. You have found out that people in their 30s don't want them, their kids don't want them, their parents don't want. Nobody wants phablets, these new phones with the bigger screens. But there's a funny thing going on. Not so much in Sweden and not so much in Canada, but around the world, we are predicting that 25% of all phones sold will in fact be phablets. And to go back to this chart, in the history of the world, there have been exactly 2 consumer products that have sold more than $120 billion. They're the personal computer and the smartphone. TV sets, nope. The peak was about $110 billion. Tablets are having a good year in 2014. They'll be about $99 billion. In other words, phablets, the thing that nobody in this room owns virtually, that nobody in this room wants, will in fact at 300 million units, $417 average selling price, be the 3rd biggest consumer hardware market in history.